everyone, Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome and thanks for joining me today. In this video, we're going to talk about something that's very much timing related, but I'm hoping that you can use this to help you to learn your licks and use them more effectively. So what we're going to do is we're going to use a fairly simple lick. It actually comes from my Blues Guitar Unleashed course. It's the second lick in the third solo example. And it's a fairly straightforward lick. So let's kind of walk through it, and I'm going to show you how to use what I call marks to sort of help you make sure that the notes are in the right place. All right, let's check it out. The lick itself, like I say, it's in A, right out of good old A minor, box 1. I played it on, as the video started, I was playing a little bit and I used that lick. So you've heard it. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look at the notes that appear on beats. Okay, so the way that I can tell that is looking at the beams that connect the notes together. So the first note is that A at the 5th fret of the 1st string. The second note, the G at the 8th fret of the 2nd string, is right on the start of the 2nd beat. If you just look up above that note, that tab note, you'll see the traditional notation there, and it's the first note in a beamed group. Okay? So the next note, the E, and the following note, the D bend, are not. But the following note, the E at the 5th fret of the 2nd string, is also, if you look right up above it, it's the start of a beat. Okay? The next note is the A. I'm doing the Albert King finger roll here. Back to E. And then I'm going to strike a C, which is again right on a beat. And then I'm going to strike the 5th fret A at the 1st string. And while the next note I don't strike it, I hold it through that next beat. So I'm going to make a note of that, because if I happen to be striking something at that point, then I know I'm doing it wrong. Okay? And I'm going to hold that through that whole beat. And the very next note, the G here at the 8th fret of the 2nd string, again is on a beat. If you look up, you can see that it's the beginning of the beamed group. Then I'm going to have my 7th fret bend and release. And the next note after that, the C at the 5th fret of the 3rd string, is also on a beat. And finally, the last A is also on a beat. Okay, so I have several notes that occur right on a beat, and I can use that information to help me. So what I want to be able to do is I'm going to kind of tap my foot as I play this, and I want to make sure that 1, 2, I want to make sure that I play that note on the beat, that note on the beat, that note on the beat, nothing there, right there, right? So if I keep track of all of those notes, 1, 2, I can just kind of keep a steady pace going, and at least as long as the right notes land on the beat, the likelihood is that it's going to be pretty close to right. You know, it may not be exactly perfect, but if you can at least get the notes that fall on the beats to fall on the beats, the rest of it is likely to start to fill in a lot more quickly, a lot faster. And you know, if you look at things like, okay, I've got 3 triplets. Okay, well, if they're all the same note value, then they should be evenly spaced. So if you find yourself playing a triplet, and instead of sounding like, it sounds like, then it's not a triplet. Because again, the triplet should be fairly evenly spaced. So you can, as long as you know, okay, this note's on the beat and this note's on the beat, and all the notes in between should be evenly spaced, it's not as nearly as much of a challenge to kind of put this whole thing together, right? So I hope you can see that. It's not, this is not something that's going to be foolproof. It's not like counting in the sense that if you count out loud, you cannot possibly get it wrong. Because if you count out loud and you play each note on the correct count, as long as the note that you play matches what you say with your mouth, you can't possibly be wrong. Okay, but there are some times when we get, these large flurries of notes, particularly when you play a slow blues, and there might be like 6 or 7 or 8 notes in one beat. You're looking at a transcription of like some Johnny Winter or something, and there's like, 10 notes in that beat. You can't count that. It's not reasonable, okay? But if you know that, hey, this note's on the beat and this note's on the beat, and I just got to get all those other ones crammed into that amount of space, you can start to put those kinds of things together. It's not easy, and I don't want to make it sound like it is, and counting is still absolutely super, super important. But this can help and be a little bit of an additional crutch or an additional shortcut that can help you to learn your licks faster and keep them in time the way they need to go. Okay? So I hope that makes some sense. I hope you got something out of it. As always, if you dig the lesson, feel free to share it with your other guitar playing friends. And my name is Griff Hamlin. I will see you real soon. Take care.